Sputnik first happened, we got imagery from the moon. Then we started putting up more satellites and we could see the Earth as a whole and how it's functioning. As a scientist, you start thinking, wow, what if we could just hang a satellite, something that could acquire imagery just over the fields that we're studying and look at them in real detail. These UASs, these microdrones, gives us a chance to do more of that, to have more continuous imagery from a field that we're studying in depth. We're looking at switchgrass varieties and how breeding in switchgrass changes their susceptibility to pests and pathogens that might have an impact for food crops. Part of thinking about how we could moderate those interactions, we've planted switchgrass alone and switchgrass with other plants that might bring in beneficial insects. So with flying microdrones over here, we can get pictures to see better the composition of our stands and see if we have any holes in them and better assess how our plants are growing. For example, these were planted during the 2012 drought, and we had to baby them a lot to get them up. Well, there's some weed legacy, so we'd like to know, do we have an entire plot or not? And then more detailed for the close imagery, we're trying to figure out exactly how much of the species composition we can figure out from those pictures. If it's close enough, we can probably tell what some of our flowers are and where they are. And then with some of the more advanced types of cameras, which we are in the midst of arranging to fly now, they look at a broader set of light types, more wavelengths, and we can use those to calculate what's called a vegetation index, and we can use that actually to make an estimate of the biomass we have here. Instead of having to harvest it all, we can actually get a remote estimate of biomass. The heart of it is that we can have just much more flexibility in analyzing our vegetation. You can hang a sticky card on it and go over the field and see if you can capture insects or spores. We have colleagues who are using cameras on them to fly up and over trees with nuts on them so they can count the number of nuts and better understand how their treatments are influencing yield that way. It's really a revolution in what we can do.